Hi, Dr. Pelto here. I'm going to go over ways that you can choose the right shoe, kind of a guide to footwear selection. I have many patients that come into the office every single day, and I would say I spend at least 5 minutes talking to everyone about shoes. So I can talk to you once, and you can maybe avoid a lot of the problems that my patients have. Okay, the first thing that seems not so obvious is that throughout the day, your feet tend to swell. Most people have more swelling at the end of the day. So if you are going to buy a shoe, I would recommend getting sized for the shoe at the end of the day when your foot is the most swollen. Don't do it at the beginning of the day when your foot is less swollen, because that can be problematic if you have swelling in your feet. The second thing, and really the most important thing, is something I call the shoe liner test. If you've never heard of it, the shoe liner is the thing that if you look at your shoe, where you put your foot in, it's where it's the cushiony part. It usually has the name of the shoe if it's an Asics or a New Balance. And that shoe liner in most very good shoes will come out. If it's already glued down, it's probably not a very good shoe, but there are some good shoes, high class shoes like Clark's, like Echoes, like New Balance, like Asics, that will come out. And that's called the shoe liner. You take out the shoe liner and then you stand on that shoe liner. And when you stand on it, your whole foot should fit inside the liner. If your foot does not fit inside the liner, the shoe is probably too small. So I probably wouldn't get that shoe. Now that's going to be hard. You're going to find in a lot of the stores that you're gonna buy a shoe at, it's going to be too narrow because most shoes aren't made to fit people's feet. They're made to fit on something called a last, which is where they make and design shoes. So that's the other thing. Shoe liner test. I always do that. Now, if the shoe liner doesn't come out and you want to determine it, what you do is you trace the shoe on a piece of paper, the bottom of the shoe on a piece of paper, and your whole foot should fit inside of it. Now, there are a few exceptions. If your shoe is very flexible, meaning if the fabric is very stretchy, it may still fit your foot and not cause a problem if there is a stretchy material. But for the most part, if it's not fitting in there, it could cause problems for you. So do either the shoe line test or the shoe tracing test. So the other thing I would say to avoid problems with shoes is go to get professionally fit. These days, there are very few places, at least in Massachusetts where I live, where you can get professionally fit for shoes. There are a few running shoe stores where they're going to watch you walk, they're going to watch you run, and they're going to see how the shoe fits. I would highly recommend that if you're a runner. If you're looking for a dress shoe, it's going to be hard to find a store that's going to be set up to find shoes to make shoes that are going to be wide enough for your foot. Most people's feet are wider than the shoes that they're finding. There are a few brands, like I mentioned, like Clark and other things. By the way, underneath this video, I'm going to put a link to my shoe buying guide. Okay, I've kind of put that together that it might help you with some things that we talked about here. Okay, so that's number 4. Go to a shoe or a shoe store versus getting things online. I don't find that online is very helpful. The only reason that it would be helpful, for example, though, is if you went to a place that had free returns. Zappos, for example, has free returns, and you can buy actually different size shoes on Zappos. So if you have one size shoe is an 8 and the other one is a 9, you can get mismatched sizes. So that's a good idea online. And also, if there's no other shoe stores around, you're going to have to do it. I would look for a place that has free returns and get multiple pairs. Okay. The other thing would be getting a shoe that's more anatomic. If you haven't heard of the word anatomic, it just means that it's wider in the front. So it's going to be wider like your anatomy. It's going to be wider in the front, and it's going to be much more comfortable. There are many shoes. If you Google anatomic shoes, you're going to find tons of shoes. You're going to also get it in my shoe buying guide that's going to be underneath this video. But the anatomic shoes are very helpful for your feet, and I pretty much recommend them all day. If you want a couple of the brands that they sell locally, would be Topo and Ultra. Those are 2 brands that they sell locally where we live. And then in our office, we have Lems because it's a brand that no one else really carries around here. So all of those are good shoes. The Topo is very similar to like a New Balance. It has a lot of support. The Ultra is a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit less supportive of a shoe. And you have to be aware, though, these shoes are going to be something called zero drop, or there's a zero stack. So it means the heel won't be lifted up. It's going to be bringing it down. So if you're used to wearing a shoe with a heel, and you might think, oh, I don't wear high heels. Well, most shoes like New Balance, Asics, they have a stack, a 5 to 8 millimeter lift on there, and going down to a 0 could aggravate or could cause some problems. So I think switching to an anatomic shoe would be a good idea. And then if you have any blisters or if you have any pain with your new shoes, that's not normal. So you should go to a place that will take your shoe back if it doesn't fit. That's where I refer my patients to. There are certain stores, you wear them at home. If they're uncomfortable, if they're painful, you bring them back, because I don't want you to be stuck with multiple pairs of shoes that you don't wear. That's the big struggle I have with my patients. They try multiple brands, they're not happy with any of them. They're very expensive and they get stuck with these shoes. So I would say try to get one shoe, try to get more of an anatomic shoe that's going to be comfortable for you. And if you have any pain, if you have any blisters, that's not normal. Don't let the shoe break in, especially if you are a diabetic. Okay. If you want my personal recommendations, I put the shoe buying guide. I will put it underneath this video, so you can just click that link. And there'll be also another video that we talked about different shoe buying tips. Okay, thanks.